Good morning and welcome. Happy Tuesday. This is your early morning intuitive guidance, and almost didn't get to join you this morning because Facebook changed some things again, and I ended up in the, what would you call it? An abyss. So, backed out of things enough to get back to a place I recognized, and then was able to get on here. But yeah, my brain is mush right now. They should not mess with things when my brain is mush. So, good morning. We'll give it a minute for people to pop on. I don't even know what time it is. I think it's like 10 after, a little more than. Good morning, Gwen. You're the first one here today. Welcome, welcome. Happy Tuesday. We have a card from the Allowing Prayers deck. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. And, yeah. So let me catch you up on where things are at in my world. I'm actually hoping to be able to join my coffee group this morning instead of having to bolt off to the hospital, because I have two sisters here who can bolt off to the hospital. So, let's see. Uncle Bob's funeral was yesterday. Wow. People were lined up out the door, around the corner, down the block. They had to cut off the greeting thing to actually get the service started. It's a German church. We start on time, right? So it was a lovely ceremony. They had beautiful pictures set up. He didn't want much for flowers. He preferred that people donate to an organization that fosters the desire for farming in kids, which I thought was cool. So a lot of interesting videos. One of the videos that I had then asked my cousins to send me is one of moving the old farmhouse, my grandfather's farmhouse, down the hill and to a different location where my cousin now lives in it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let's see. Dad, they're keeping another couple of days. And then I think we're going to rehab facility for a bit. We need some work on strengthening. But good morning, Beth. Glad you're here. Welcome. Yeah, given where we were at this time last week, oof. It's been a week. Let's see, what else is new? Got to see my new grandbaby in utero yesterday. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you are here. Little critter was just like my two in utero, unwilling to, good morning, Abigail, good morning, Nancy, unwilling to reveal gender. So we have to wait a couple of weeks because there's some genetic testing being done, and in that we will be able to know what our amazing grandchild is going to be. So yeah, lots going on. Circle of life all over hell. Big exhale. So, card for today. I like this card because, again, it has those questions. And hopefully several of you will put the questions in the feed so that those who skim through reading and don't necessarily watch the video at least get the questions to ponder, because they are some pretty awesome, thank you for the hearts, pretty awesome questions. Let's do some tapping and some breath, because I know for me, I've been going 1,000 miles an hour with my hair on fire. Good morning, Mel. Glad you're here. Welcome. And a little bit of slowing down would be a good thing. So, tapping and breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Hopefully that kind of slowed things down. Part of the reason, in addition to it just being good for all of us to slow down a bit, an additional nudge to slow down came yesterday morning when Carrie and I popped up to see Dad before we headed out for the funeral. And he was, as he would put it, madder than a wet hen, because the occupational therapist had come in with a student, and it's taking him a while to catch up with conversation, and she was talking so fast that he wasn't picking up what she was asking, and then she was just doing things, and that really made him mad. So we called the nurse in and had her explain to him what the other woman had been wanting to do, what her job was, blah, blah, blah. And I think good morning, Carolyn, glad you're here, welcome. I think we soothed his ruffled feathers, but when people are processing slow, you can't be talking fast, and you can't be just jumping in and doing stuff. You gotta slow it down. So I think that was also good advice for us as we were hurtling our way through. Now the paperwork is starting to come in. And already there's one piece of paperwork that has something on it that we're like, no, we didn't agree to this. So we'll have to address that today. But allowing prayers, 57 invitations to spark a conversation with your soul. And this card for today, allow healing. Allow healing. If we've been walking the earth for a while, we've got some wounds. And to carry those with us increases our burden. To be able to mine those wounds for the gifts they can hold sets us up to become better and better humans. So, our first question on allow healing is, what wisdom can you find in your physical or emotional discomfort? What wisdom can you find in your physical or emotional discomfort? Good morning, Angie. Glad you are here. Welcome. So, I'll share one of mine. An emotional discomfort is oftentimes anxiety. Anxiety. What if, oh my God, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, buts, all the things. What I have learned probably in the last, thank you for 2 cups of coffee. Oh my, I could use that. Actually, I might stop at their coffee shop today. It's a really good coffee shop at the hospital. Anywho, squirrel. Anxiety has taught me, good morning, Beth. Anxiety has taught me that I am too far ahead down the road. I'm trying to anticipate every potential outcome, especially the bad ones, and have a plan or 2 or 3 or 10 in place for each potential outcome. And while on the surface that may seem useful, it's a waste of energy, a huge waste of energy. Because one of the quotes that I've used with my clients for years now is 99% of the time what you have imagined doesn't happen anyway, and the 1% of the time that it does, it happens in some other way than you have actually planned for. So all that churning, all that energy, that doesn't mean that we can't periodically, for brief periods of time, glance down the road to make sure we're still heading where we want to go. But this hemorrhaging of energy into what ifs does not serve us. So that emotional discomfort of anxiety has taught me a lot, has taught me a better way of living. So what about for you? And if someone can put this in the feed, this would be fabulous. What wisdom can you find in your physical or emotional discomfort? I'll give you a silly one. Stopped wearing high heels when my legs would kill me after taking them off. I used to be able to run in those bloody things. Not anymore. So I heed that. Now I look for sensible shoes. Yes, I'm one of those who's to the sensible shoes category. What wisdom can you find in your physical or emotional discomfort? Second question, how can it guide you toward a path of peace and healing? How can it guide you toward a path of peace and healing? There's one that's a phenomenon right now that people are gaga about, and that is the Let Them movement of Mel Robbins. That is a path to peace and healing. I'll hearken back to Byron Katie, Loving What Is. That is a path to peace and healing. Course in Miracles, a path to peace and healing. There are a bazillion things out there that can serve us, and it's a good thing there's a bazillion things out there, because what works for one of us may be less to another one of us. So the fact that there are multiple, and look at what they did. They wouldn't have written those books had they not walked the path, right? You can't write about what you don't know about. So the best things we can choose to write about, to share with others, are our own experiences. Our own experiences. So, what wisdom can you find in your physical or emotional discomfort? How can it guide you toward a path of peace and healing? Those are some amazing questions for us today. Ponder them, talk them over with people. Thank you, Abigail. Greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. And the second one is, how can it guide you toward a path of peace and healing? So, ponder that. Talk it over with someone today. Hey, I got these 2 great questions I want to ask you. If you're willing to share your answers with me, I'd love to share my answers with you. Let's talk about it. Good morning, Cheryl. Welcome. We are just about done, but you can go back and watch the video. I'll post it on here on my Dr. Bonnie page right away, and then once I get some cacao in me, then I'll come back and post it on all the other sites. So, have an awesome Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.